Hi guys, welcome to one of my videos where I use exposure response, well basically exposure therapy to help treat my choking phobia. Yeah, I just realized this earlier when I was doing my research yesterday in my video. It's not really exposure and response therapy I'm using more exposure therapy. The response prevention is kind of something more associated with OCD, where you feel like it's not necessarily right to be washing your hands, for example, 10 times a day. So you would try to only wash it 5 times, right? That's the response prevention. Exposure is simply more for phobias, I would say, where you slowly expose yourself to the phobia. So again, I'm going to rate my anxiety on a scale of 1 to 100, do the exposure, and then rate my anxiety afterwards. Afterwards, I'll talk more about psychology, maybe read more from Wikipedia articles about what psychology is, and maybe to help people understand more what that is. So this is that. Anxiety on a scale of 1 to 100. Right now is like a 5. I'm just too overpowered by my hunger to actually think about anxiety. And it's bread, so it's not like, I don't know, fries or chicken. It's just more, I'm a choking hierarchy, even though it's just, I don't really believe in it anymore since these exposures. But just for people to understand, that's where it's coming from. That's where my thoughts are coming from. So out of 5 out of 10.
Does a fear become a phobia? It happens when your fear begins to get in the way of your life. For example, a few years ago I was installing an AC in my living room. I opened the window and saw a massive swarm of door shut and grab some towels to seal the space under the door, because I thought the bees were going to get inside and get me. I'm allergic to bees. But I believe something bad was going to happen. I called my wife and begged her to come home and save me. She did. But I was on edge for days to come after that, and I couldn't bring myself to open that window and install that AC. My wife ended up doing it on her own. I asked her to do it only when I was away at work. Kind of ironic, me having to escape to work to avoid my phobia when my job is their phobias. When you get anxious, your urge is to avoid a situation. While that makes you feel better, it keeps you from learning that if you stick with a situation, your body will adapt and your anxiety will come down on its own. The more you expose yourself to anxiety, the less anxiety you feel. This is the idea behind exposure therapy, the most effective treatment for anxiety disorders. Here's how I applied exposure therapy to my bee phobia. Step 1, make an exposure plan. I started by making a fear hierarchy, listing all the situations that make me anxious and rating them from 0 to 100. Stuff like watching cartoon bees, videos of bees, being in a garden with a lot of flowers, all the way up to having a bee crawl on my skin. Step 2, pick a low starting point. This is where most people really miss out exposure therapy. They start really high, it's overwhelming, they quit, and all this ends up doing is just strengthening their phobia. Exposure therapy is like learning how to ride a bike. The first thing you do is get used to training wheels, not extreme mountain biking. I started my treatment with an exposure that was one step above what I could already do. Watch a documentary about bees. Step 3, get bored of your exposures. Exposures work when you do them over and over again. Once you get bored, then you move up in difficulty. I spent a few months crossing things off my hierarchy, and I watched that scary video documentary over and over again. I'm ready to face real bees. My wife found a patch of flowers with lots of bees nearby, so let's go face my fear. Gosh, my heart is racing, and I have this fear that the bees are going to touch me and something bad's going to happen. I know it's not logical, it's all emotional, and now I'm like hyper aware of what's going on. I'm going to move towards the bees, sit with it, let my anxiety rise, come down on its own. I'm going to give you the SUD scale. It's a scale of 0 to 100, how much subjective units of distress I'm experiencing. My SUDs are about 70. This is a pretty high exposure. When you're doing exposures, you want to be really mindful. You want to really experience it. You don't want anything to distract you. I'm going to have a very specific, observable, and achievable goal. I'm going to week here, and I am not going to move. My thoughts right now are this bee is going to come straight at me. Oh gosh, bees don't attack you just because you're nearby. I'm still scared of getting stung by a bee, and I'm beginning to think that I could tolerate it if it happens. I have to keep facing bees and do more exposures on my heart, and I'll let you know how that goes in a few episodes. But I'm optimistic. Do you have any phobias you're trying to overcome? Let me know in the comments below. I'm at OllyMateo on social media. For more psychology, be sure to like the Psych Show on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube.
Still here.
Okay. You want to put the nose clip on first. I love how you take a big gap of air in case it's the last one you get. I like that. Okay, so you start whenever you want. 30 seconds. The behavior, if you can allow your mind to be as quiet as possible while you're doing it. Because as you know, you can bail out of it in any moment. Just let your mind be quiet and do the activity only. So what happened? I didn't feel like I was getting enough air. Okay. And so where's your rating from 0 to 100? 60. 60, okay. And did you think you were getting enough air, but you predicted you weren't? Or did you really think you weren't?
So, finish the exposure part, which is, and I know when I'm doing it, like I'm doing it live, I'm not going to edit my videos, I don't have a lot of editing equipment, I'm just new to this YouTube thing, you know, with all the everything, so I know it's boring to watch me eat while I, you know, feast my anxiety, so I just decided to maybe put some YouTube videos on about what we're talking about, and I found it very interesting. But a lot of the stuff I already knew. I know, though, it's a lot of stuff that perhaps could be better conveyed to you guys in a better way because, you know, like, the way I talk may not be as, what you call it, clear. So, went from a 10 to a 5. I actually forget what it began with, but I believe it was a 10. If it wasn't a 10, if it was a 5, then it went from a 5 to a 5. Okay? Either way, though, it went from either a 10 to a 5 to a 5 to a 5. Very, very low. And he was talking about this, getting bored of your anxiety. The thing about that is you got to be careful, though, because with a choking phobia, if you do these hierarchical fear exposures, to a certain point, wouldn't one of the logical ones be to be like, for example, to eat, one of your most chokeable items, maybe a steak, a T-bone steak, and with like some parathas, and all the choke foods you could think of, like can't think of any. Oh, like those maybe small. So a T-bone steak with maybe some parathas. Who emotionally have connected with my parents' divorce. I don't eat them, well, that's not a good example then. But a T-bone steak for sure, because you got that whole, choking thing with that. And let's say maybe some fries. Throw on what did I say before? Not sure. Like, you know what I mean? Like a taco. When you have like a meal like that, does it make even sense? First of all, to enjoy those things on your palate, and more importantly, I think it becomes to a certain extent like you should get bored of your exposures. You should always try to slowly face your hierarchical fears that you've created, which I haven't created. I just kind of basically say every day I'm gonna want to eat at least once a day. It becomes irrational sometimes because you're like just doing it because of your phobia. If you're at a level, you saw he was at a 70. That's where I began my videos, at a 70. When you get down to a 40, 30, 20, 10 like I am, Bismillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله يكرمك ويكرمك وهما في السماوات وما في الأرض من زوج يسكن ولا بيتين يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يعقلون بشيء من علمه وشاء بصير كرسي اسمه ولا يسمع كل العظيم. Sorry guys, my Islam. Actually, don't apologize for that. Praise God. That whole idea of getting bored of your anxieties and moving on to higher and higher ones definitely makes sense to me. To a certain extent, though, you gotta be careful with your choking phobia, because this is something like it's part of your daily life. Like, for the example of a person who was scared of bees, he said he would just walk to their side, and yeah, that would be harmful for him. It wouldn't be as harmful though as missing a meal, right? So you gotta understand, if you're eating on a regular basis and your anxiety is at a low level, don't push yourself to do something like eat a T-bone steak and, you know, a taco after that, you know, the next day, and just try to find the most chokeable foods. You know, that's not healthy, because it's okay at that point. It's effectively treated. And I understand what he's trying to say in terms of a hierarchy. At a certain point, though, he should understand. I don't know how familiar he was or how much he's been doing of this, but he would quickly understand the anxiety goes down, it plateaus, and if you're okay with that plateau, you're okay with it. And I think most people are okay with that plateau, because I'd rather have a 20 than a 70, right? Would you rather be scared of bees out of a scale of 120 or 70? Now, I know 0 is preferable, so, you know, but, you know, life doesn't work that way, where we always have things that are preferable. So, but as I said, it works. This isn't pseudoscience I'm making up, so. A very interesting quote there on the videos. They said it's like fear and exposure therapy, it's like a law of nature that when you kind of avoid it, it'll just kind of get worse and worse and almost follow you and haunt you and dread you and make you more anxious. Well, conversely, in the rule of nature, if you were to just basically attack it and, you know, sit with it and, you know, just do it, right? Just kind of like touch the bee or eat the food, or allow your body to just, you know, feel any feelings you're feeling on your skin or in your head, or any thoughts you may have, and just feel them. And just feel them. Nature itself will kind of correct you, because that's kind of like how nature is. If you face your fear, the fear will become less. That's just I found that very interesting in nature. I found that to be, it made a lot of sense to me. Because he was talking about how he was getting scared of the bees, and then he saw some people just walking by and they weren't scared, and he thought to himself, like, wow, that really helped me. What did he call it? Like a healthy behavioral modeling, where he sees people who aren't scared, and it gives him like this, like, oh yeah, I'm just this regular person who, you know what I mean? That's nature in a way, society, whatever. I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I try to make them quality content. I want to eat more today. Oh, full disclosure, I had a slice of cheese before I made the video. And so, full disclosure, yeah. I wanted to eat more today. The thing is, my routine makes it so that I only eat once a day, basically. I might eat again later. What I'm gonna end up doing is buying a bag, because I didn't go grocery shopping this week. I didn't go grocery shopping because my father's going out of town and he's supposed to come with me, and he didn't come, and therefore I'm not going. And it's just so stupid when you think about it, because, like, I should be able to go. I'm 34 years old or whatever, you know, or 33, or, like, I don't want to know how old I am, but I'm getting up there. I should be able to go grocery shopping by myself. It's just, at first I was like, you know, I have OCPD, so my dad promised me, and then he kind of like, at the last minute, bailed on me and said, oh, I had to go do something for my for basically your brother, my half brother or whatever. And that sucks, because some of the OCPD, when they're told that something's gonna happen at a certain time, they depend on it. Like, okay, this is something I need to do, this is part of my life, it's normal, it's fixed, it's controlled, right? I have this, you know, degree of power over it, right? Control over it, knowing what's going to happen, what I can do until then, so that, because when I get there I have to do this, right? That's kind of how OCPD works. It makes you excited about things that are fixed, because they're not going to change. Therefore, you know them. Therefore, there's a routine involved with them, right? Does that make sense? You're noticing this pattern. That at least I've been noticing with OCPD. You kind of like routines and notice like little patterns and things like. I'm not sure what I was talking about. Anyway, what was I saying? Man with the bees. Makes sense. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's cold now. You can see I'm wearing like a toque, a jacket. I have a layer underneath. Besides my shirt, that's a dress shirt. And I even have one more sweatshirt in the back if it gets too cold. You can wear on top under my coat because it's so, like, it's Canada, guys. And in Canada, it's not warm in the winters. Don't tell me, why do you think we're out barbecuing when it gets, you know, when we're out there fishing, hunting up north in our cottages when it's summer? Because that's all summer is, that's it. After it's done. After summer ends, right, it becomes, everyone starts dreading when it becomes like the first snow, when it starts getting colder and colder. It's like a dread. That's what I feel. It's like it's around September, early September, and the sun's still warm. You know, summer is dying, but we just don't see it dying because even the sun now, we still think it's summer. How warm it is. 2 to 3 weeks later, most a month, and they start talking about snowfall warnings and temperatures dipping, and now it's like November, and we're basically in you know, we had snow yesterday, a little bit, so just about half a centimeter, I think, not much. Like it didn't even bother me with driving. It just, though it's cold now. It's really like I gotta start garaging my car inside. It's definitely cold. There was like ice particles on my window, so. All right, so it's very important if you guys want to do, like, it's very specific for your phobia. All right, the other person you met, I showed the video. I didn't show it as much, as long as I was finishing my food. It was the person who had a suffocation phobia. A phobia where they feared that, I guess they would suffocate. And so I'm assuming this is without food. They would just run out of air. Like when they breathe, they think that's the last breath they're gonna take. And so I guess what the psychologist, how my health worker was trying to help her overcome was a suffocation phobia. And the best tool he used was this thing on her nose, where like a plugger for the nose, you know, like a clip. And so that she can kind of like, you know, be okay with that and in a safe environment. It's very relaxing. At the same time, it's gonna make her face her fear. And I noticed that in the beginning of that video, she was talking about like, so what do you want me to do? And no, she said after she took it off, after about like, she said like he said you have to do it for 30 seconds, and she put it on. I think after about 20 seconds, she just couldn't do it, so she took it off. And the guy's like, what's wrong? And she said, I thought I was gonna run out of air, right? And the next thing he said was basically like, keep it going, keep, you know, stay in that state. Don't just say I was gonna run out of air and then like be happy that your clip is off your nose, because I could definitely see it. He was a good psychologist. He was definitely trying to cull out the state one is in when they're anxious, so that he's trying to cull out like how nature kind of like helps people who face their fears. That's kind of like the other video was saying. It's like a rule of nature in a way. If you face your fears, if you lean into your fears, live where the fear lives, you'll, by watching people who are, what's it called, healthy modeling behavior, like the psychiatrist, the patient will see him and she will think, okay, he's not getting scared of any air being, like, he took a breath and he didn't get fear after about 30, 40, 50 seconds of running out of air, right? So all these things matter. That's why he was trying to say, stay kind of in what you're trying to say. Look at me, talk to me, you know, look and see how I'm a healthy model of behavior. And with all due respect, I don't want to judge you, but you're an unhealthy model of behavior. And to get you better, just look at me and just see that I am not fearing your fear. You understand? And once that clicks in her head, then the whole society will begin to click, right? Because when two people are together, it's like society. Damn, does that not even make sense? Word to God, I'm not high right now. I'm just talking a lot. Alright, so one other things. The bee phobia is very interesting. I have a bee phobia, but it's like, I have a bee phobia, it's less though. Much less. Like, it doesn't interfere. Like, I don't go out of my ways to go to where bees are. And if a bee was to be in my arm, I would flip. If a bee was in my car, I would probably flip. You know, I mentioned before my complaints about the insects by this tree here, where I make my videos and spend a lot of my time. And it's annoying. And at first I was very, very, very scared of them. I thought they could, like, I was delusional a little bit too. I thought they could, like, they were out to get me. They were, like, telepathically coordinating to get me. And then I started taking my medication and just realized they're just freaking bees. They're attracted to actually the Coke you drink, basically, and all the sweets you have around you. But I basically came to this conclusion that bees aren't that, scary. At the same time, though, he mentioned the traumatic incident he had that sparked his phobia. Right? He was fixing his air conditioner or something. He took it off and he saw a whole bunch of bees just sitting there, right? And how they all, I guess, attacked him or whatever, and it scared him. I can definitely see the same thing happening with me. Remember when I was eating those pierogies? I was high. I was just in a not good state at that point. Just literally, it was like 2 to 3 weeks, a month after I broke up with my ex-boyfriend. And my parents were, not in the best states. And I know my brother, I didn't know, my brother was, though. There was that happening with him. He was dealing with his own demons. And I had a traumatic experience. I was eating a pierogi, and it just, the way it went down my throat, it felt like I was choking. I wasn't choking, but it just felt like it. Does that make sense? It was just so powerful, that first initial, like, feeling like you're dying. Like, I got over it quickly because I wasn't used to it being exposed to me over and over again. This is the first time it happened, right? It's when it happened again and again and again that you start developing a phobia for it. So that's where you're gonna have to take action and you literally, when you have a phobia, the worst thing to do is to, like, pretend everything's okay. It really is. You think it's okay to just, like, be scared of bees? To a certain extent, sure, they're gonna sting you. I mean, but to have it unhealthy to a point where you won't even want to look at a picture of a bee, right? Or, walk in a park, it's like, those things are ridiculous. So, you can't watch Bee Movie. You know what I mean? That's enough reason to, like, do these exposures. You know what I mean? So, and I've thought about this too, kind of having a gradation, kind of like maybe like one day eating meat in front of my father, one day eating at a restaurant. That's nice. I don't know if I really feel the need for it right now, even though I know in the future these are things I might need to have to do. Definitely eating in a restaurant. Even my dad, I've done it before. I've eaten meat in front of him, and I've done it a long time ago, like 2-3 years ago, like not when I was a kid. And so I think try to do it again. At the same time, I try to have the best relationship with him and not let that choking phobia cloud my judgment. Because a lot of times when he's eating, or especially when his my stepmom is there, basically it's like my mom. I call her she is my stepmom. I consider her my mom though. So when my mom was choking, she choked one time. When I was basically sitting in the living room watching TV, she choked on something. I don't know what, it's rice or something. Chicken, I'm not sure. And she didn't have the Heimlich maneuver, but my brother was there. He did know how to do the Heimlich maneuver in case anything bad happened. And it traumatized me so much that I'm scared to be around her and even think, like, negative thoughts, like, about her, or, like, just the way she moves. It used to get me really anxious because I would always think, like, it's like my, I don't know, like just being around is making like it caused her to choke, and now she thinks I'm like this person who likes watching people choke, or I'm a choke machine, or like I'm a choke curse. I think, you know, it took a lot of effort to kind of get over that between me and her, and I believe she's gotten over it. I believe she has, and I believe I can just see in her attitude ever since she came back from Hajj about like a month ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago. I can see in her attitude this huge change of like very warm, welcoming, and happy. And before then, like, she was kind of like lukewarm and mostly just like neutral. I think it was because also I kind of like started becoming more friendly with my half brother. You know, we share a lot of common interests like video games and stuff, and you know, I love him. He's a good kid. He's like my half brother. And so she noticed how we're like friends, and I think that could have helped her as well to be more comfortable around me. And so now I have to also pick up the mantle and deal with my choking phobia, and which I am. And so I think it's really great how we're all connecting right now today, and hopefully in the future, because of this great just confluence of events that is happening. So, right, because you have her going to Hajj, me getting closer to my half brother, and basically my anxiety getting better too, because I'm taking I'm actually doing the exposures. All right, guys, I think I'll end it here. So it went from a 10 to a 5, or it went from a 5 to a 5. Either way, as I said, this is when you get bored with your anxiety. As I said, I plan to do these videos every day of my life. Okay, so if there are times where I feel like I'm getting too bored that I need to step it up, I should. Like if I'm having a bagel when I really should be having like chicken biryani, I'm gonna call myself out and have chicken biryani. You know what I mean? For the most part, though, I'm doing this just so I can eat and feel less anxious. Those are my goals, even though I should have a progressive chart, like eat in a restaurant, maybe eat with unfamiliar people, you know what I mean? Like, it really depends on how much you want to live your life. How much, are these things important to you? Is it really important for you to eat in a restaurant? And to me, things like nowadays with all these food delivery apps, it's not that important, in my opinion. Unless you're on a date with someone, you know, that's we won't talk about that. This is a psychology channel. We don't talk about those things on this channel. Having said that, that's, you know, that's something people do. So if you feel like you're going to do that, then definitely, and you have that phobia, make that as a goal. Eat in a restaurant. Not as the first one. It's definitely going to be a mid-tier to high goal. Then I started small. You got list, looking at a picture of a bee, watching a documentary about bees, right? Then, you know, I don't know what else he said, and then it went up to like eventually having a bee crawl in his arm. So it's going to be one of those mid to high ones. I'm randomly just saying something because I'm just remembering it. I don't know if there's any gamers out there who play Xbox One, but Civilization 6 is coming out for Xbox One and PS4. And I'm like, wow, because that game was a console, was a PC exclusive. And I wonder how they're going to even allow, like, how are you going to play that game on a console? I don't even know if you can. I don't know, how do you play that game on a console? So, weird. You know what I mean? How are you gonna play that game on a console? I was thinking about buying it too. And they have the expansion pack coming out. It's coming out around my birthday. It's coming out, I think, November 20th or November 10th. And I was thinking I should get it for my birthday. Like, it's the whole Civilization. It's like Civilization 6 plus the 2 DLCs. I think it's like $100 or even more than that. It's just that I don't know if I'm gonna get a good experience on a console with Civilization 5. Can you? Because my first experience in Civilization was Civilization 3, which I remember I bought and returned the next day because I found it so boring. Because all the guy was doing was irrigating. For like 6 turns. All he was doing was he had a little irrigation thing, you know, where you plant the seeds and you make the soil all like into straight lines. And you pour the water or whatever. That's all he was doing for 6 turns. I didn't realize every turn was supposed to be like a month and how this is how you built up your civilization. I think after about like 30 minutes. I was like, this is boring. Nothing's happened. He hasn't done anything. It's like, you've completed your first farm. I was like, okay, I thought I had to like build. I honestly thought it'd be like SimCity. You build cities and you got like an army also, and you fight. But no, it's more of like you're the ruler. Like you're like the god of the civilization, or you're like the best ruler of the civilization. And you know, guide it from its beginning of just one settler and one farmer up to like when it has like can go into space. And you make a lot of farms. Those farms become cities. Those cities become, you know, you can put banks in those cities. You can put military academies in those cities. You can put spy agencies in those cities. You can make military bases in those cities. And you start making units to take out other cities, or example, make cultural units. Like you can make a William Shakespeare or a Rumi, you know, or like a Goth to kind of like influence other civilizations to kind of like be on your side. It's kind of like that. And I didn't really understand when I first got it, when I was with Civilization 3 when I first bought it, and that was like around 2002. Then Civilization 5 came out, because it really turned me off Civilization 4. I never got that. And Civilization 5 came out. I remember watching a guy on the YouTube. His name is 2BC Productions, Johnny Superbman. And he was really into those games. And I was like, all right, I like him because I like how he commentates in making his videos. So I watched him and I was like, this is really interesting. I didn't realize this is how they do it. The graphics are updated. It's more interesting in terms of like how it's made. Then I bought Civilization 5. And I got hooked on it. Totally hooked on it, bro. I think I played it like so much. Like on the weekends, that's all I would do from like let's see, Saturday morning. I would get up early on Saturday mornings just to be able to play it all day. I mean all day. I wouldn't go to sleep till like 3 in the morning. And then yeah, Sundays too. Just the whole weekends. Civilization 5. And I'd watch him make the videos, I'd make the videos. And so then when when Civilization 6 came out, I naturally bought it. I didn't really like it at first. I was like, it's a bit of too much of a learning curve. Like, what are these districts? I don't know what a district is, and I've already figured out what cities are and how to make military units and how to make cultural units and how to make spy units and all these different things, nuclear bombs. How do you when Civilization 6 came along, they had this new thing called districts, where each city can become a district. So each city can be like you can have a military district in their city, but then it's best to just have that city all military. Another city can be a science district, so have all science, observatories and science buildings there in schools. Another one can be a cultural district where they just have museums. And I thought that was very confusing at first. I was like, why are you like doing this? And then the whole housing thing in Civilization 5 to deal with overpopulation, if you have less happiness brought on by like buildings that you make, like a coliseum or like what was it, like a carnival, it makes the citizens in your cities happy, and so they can grow more. If they grow more, they can become more powerful, they can make things faster, exert their cultural influence, and be more defensive if they're attacked. And I thought that was very good. And then so when the whole district thing come out, I was like, well, what's the difference between a district and a city? And they didn't really explain it, and then it kind of came out later in the patches, and I finally understood. Well, districts are kind of like suburbs of cities in a way. They're kind of like, what do you want your city to primarily be doing? If it's like on the front lines, you want to turn it into a fortress. If it's in the back, you want to turn it into like science and maybe culture. If it's near a friendly civilization, you may want to make it into like a science, culture, missionary type of city district. And so I finally figured that out, and I was just like, dude, alhamdulillah. I was playing it on PC, then I sold my PC, and now I think I want to buy another one because PC gaming is so much funner than Xbox gaming, except for NHL. It's the only reason I'm keeping my Xbox One. It's because I'd rather play NHL 19 or any NHL game like NHL 20 on an Xbox rather than on rather than on a PC. That's one thing PCs can't do. If EA started making their NHL games on the PC, they would sell a lot more, because all you gotta do is get a controller and you're set. And the reason they're not doing that though is because they know PC users don't have to pay for any sort of online subscription service, right? They just pay their internet provider bill. So if you're to start, and EA has this like monopoly on like hut cards or something. I don't know what it is. It's like when you go online, they give you cards, and the cards are players, and the players become your team, and you upgrade your team by playing them and winning games. You can buy more cards. So they have this whole microeconomy, and it's part of a subscription service with Xbox Live. So they're making so much money off that, right? Xbox making money and EA's making money. And how are they going to make money in the PC world when we have free internet? Well, not free. I mean, like it's subscription. It's not a subscription-based service like Xbox One is. You know what I mean? It's like you pay your internet, but you can also watch YouTube videos and other things because you obviously need. You can't just buy a computer and not have internet. You know, you can have an Xbox One without Xbox Live. That's fine. You know, but yeah. All right. Sorry guys, I'm ranting here. I hope you guys liked most of the video. I'm gonna end it here, and because it's just a lot of ranting going on now. See, what's my plan for today? I want to work today. I was gonna work yesterday, but then you know what? I was gonna work yesterday, and I said to myself, "Don't work yesterday," because this is what I said to myself yesterday. Don't work today. Work tomorrow because you should be able to just get some gaming done today. Get some gaming done. Get back into your gaming roots. You know, you got these games. I just got Tomb Raider. I got Thief, NHL, Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Like, just have a fun time playing some games. After about like one game of NHL, I got bored. Not even lying, I got bored. After one game of NHL, I got bored, and I was like, I don't know if this is like what I should be doing, and then it became like 9 o'clock, because I decided to do this around I think 8:30 or something, I was working a little bit earlier than then, and then it was not very busy for a while, and then so I kind of took a pause on my orders, and it was 8:30, and I said, all right, I'm just gonna just forget it. I'm gonna just game now all night, and I'll start up early tomorrow, hit it hard, and the gaming just got boring. I just got bored. I don't know. Maybe it's a PC game, PC games more. I don't know. It's just Xbox One is cool. There's nothing wrong with it. I love my brother's Xbox One. I love consoles, gaming. It's fun. It's just, I don't know. It's just something clicked at me, I could be doing a lot more with my life, instead of just playing video games. At the same time, I like how they're a nice distraction. They're so immersive nowadays with the storylines and the graphics. Not like when I was growing up. I used to have the Xbox 360, which the games were plentiful. The graphics were lacking compared to an Xbox One. Graphics were wholly lacking. Xbox One's basically a gaming computer. It's like one of those mid-range. It's like a low-budget, mid-range, pre-built gaming computer. It's just because they're using a Jaguar CPU with a integrated graphics card specifically made for this Jaguar CPU, and it's a micro ATX. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, it's a micro ATX, I believe, case and motherboard. So they can't put a full-size graphics card in there. They definitely have a very, very nice integrated graphics solution that works wonders with their processor. Yeah, I might be mistaken. That actually might be integrated graphics Xbox One has. Whatever the case, it is micro ATX, so definitely when you put it in the motherboard, it only supports ×8, not ×16, the buffer. So it will be slower in kind of frame rates. A little bit, obviously PC gaming is no surprise. You're gonna get better value for PC gaming than you are for console gaming. All right. I'm gonna end the video here. No, let's keep it going. I was thinking earlier today about restaurants that, for example, let's say they open at 10. And then you order something online and it's not delivered to 11:40 because they didn't decide to open till 10:30 or something. I'll be honest, I find this a lot more with brown culture, I think. For example, there's 2 brown restaurants where I live that they said they open at 10, and when you order online from them, I remember one time one of them called me and said, "I'm sorry, but my cooks are not here. I can get you your samosas." Like, I ordered samosas and chana masala, and they're like, and parathas, and they said, I can make you your samosas, I just can't make you your chana masala or your parathas because the chefs aren't here. Can you wait half an hour? And I was like, forget it, just refund my order. You know what I mean? And because, and there was a second time also, and it was just disappointed me, obviously. The second time was, I ordered another brown place here, and I ordered, what was it, like samosas? I got 4 samosas, and they after about like 10 minutes of not even confirming with the restaurant that they accepted my order, Skip the Dishes calls me and says, basically, we're having trouble verifying your orders being confirmed, so basically we're gonna have to refund your thing. And I was like, fail. And both of those orders were from Indian Pakistani people, and I think it's like part of the culture of like kind of like laid back, you know, work kind of half. And but you don't see that at McDonald's. You don't see that at KFC. If they're, I correct myself. There was one time at KFC, I believe it was 10 or 10:30, so I'm not sure. This may be a false memory. I remember going to the drive-thru, and mind you, both of these examples I'm about to tell you are definitely understandable. So I go to the drive-thru, and it was either 10 or 10:30, and so I'm like, hello, and no one answered. I looked into the drive-thru. There was a person there inside working. When I looked at him, he kind of like, I don't know if he saw me. It looked like he was getting things ready, so it must have been around 10, and they opened at 10:30. So my mistake. You know, one other time at Krispy Kreme, I had this unnatural craving for Krispy Kreme donuts one day. So naturally, I decided, because I lived in about 30 minutes away from my nearest Krispy Kreme donut place, to find out the hours of when they open and be the first person there to get 2 dozen donuts, please, of your freshest donuts. And so I go there, and I don't know what it was. Like, this is when I had a really big beard, and I'm not gonna blame the beard. That's why I'm saying, like, the second example is understandable as well too. So I go to the drive-thru, and no one answered. And so then I go around the drive-thru. Like, I waited for like 5 minutes. No one answered. And I got there like right when they opened. So I thought, I'll give them 5 minutes, right? Still no one answered. So then I went through the drive-thru. I don't know if I saw people, because I basically decided I'm gonna go through the drive-thru and just go inside then, right? So I go inside. Door's locked. When I check on my phone, I think this could be a false memory too, but I remember distinctly knowing they're open at this time. I think they just got scared of like a brown guy with a beard coming to get donuts early. It makes sense, honestly. I'm not gonna, like, it's kind of discriminatory at the same time. I don't blame them. At the same time, it could also just be not even that. It could just be they're just so busy, like they're busy getting ready. They just have to open late. I don't know. I think it's a brown culture mentality type of thing of like, you know, if it's busy, I'll work. If it's not busy, I'll just, you know, go on my phone. You just see people slack off at work. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I see it more with brown people than I do with white people. Maybe white people slack off in life. I don't know. You know, you don't see white people behind closed doors, so I don't know. Except me. Except me. Alright. That was a good video. End it here. But guys, stay with it.